Hey, we're back at the top again today with another topic to be gleeful and furious at. What is it about this time? Don't you post enough unnecessary content as it is? Well, thanks for the insult, someone who sounds just like me, but this one is different. Let me explain. This series is called The Good and the Bad. I've done it 4 times before, and if you want to see those past videos, the playlist will be in the description below. Now, I wanted to expand on it since the topic is so universal. You can use many topics under this umbrella. So why not return to an old branch of the series and look over the generations again? We last left off with Generation 2, so, with that, let's dive into the good and the bad of Generation 3, Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. With the first game being on the Game Boy Advance, you know Game Freak had to step it up. They were only using 8-bit graphics for the last 2 generations, and they definitely had to come out of the gate swinging with Generation 3, and boy did they come out of the gate swinging. The graphics were revolutionary for Pokemon, well, at least at the time, and it was definitely a great stepping stone to what it looks like today. On the other hand, keeping your favorite Pokemon locked behind the inaccessibility between generations didn't feel as good. Imagine training up your favorite Pokemon and finding out that they can't be transferred to future games. No wonder people stopped playing Pokemon once Generation 3 was out. One of the best additions to the Pokemon franchise was abilities. All of a sudden, every Pokemon had its own quirk and strategy to use in battle, unless you had Illuminate. It was great! I mean, even though some Pokemon had bad abilities like Truant and Stall and Illuminate, it helped pave the way for more useful abilities, and now they are treated like new moves and Pokemon. What nifty abilities are we gonna see in Generation 8 next year? We'll find out soon enough. Even though we got this amazing new feature and abilities, what was missing for the first time in Pokemon history were the new evolutions to older Pokemon. The only cross-generational evolutions were pre-evolutions, being Azurill and Wynaut, both of which were terrible because Azurill was a normal type at the time, and Wynaut, well, it's a Wynaut. We of course got this in return in a later generation, so at the time it sucked. No wonder people didn't like the disconnection between generations and stopped playing Pokemon. In the last 2 sets of games, we had Team Rocket and Team Rocket 2 Electric Boogaloo. We had to face one evil team, in other words. Hoenn turned it upside down and rolled it with 2 evil teams, one fighting for more land, while the other fought for more ocean water. You'd fight one of them in either of the games, but in Emerald, you had to simultaneously keep track of both of them. Sabotaging one team is fun enough, but 2? Count me in! While we got that additional team, what got axed in the end was the post-game. Not much to do in Generation 3 after defeating Steven. You know, we just fly out of the battle tower. That's about it. At least in Emerald, they had the Battle Frontier and added other things, like battling Steven deep in Meteor Falls. It really reminded me of battling Red all those years ago in Mount Silver. But as for Ruby and Sapphire, it was just plain. And that's probably why people drop Pokemon right after. Another addition to these games were double battles. And I'm not talking about double battles by themselves, I'm referring to the waves it created because of its introduction. And sure, the EGC uses it as its primary battle type, but since its introduction, it's triggered many new battling types, some of which aren't as good, but at least Game Freak is willing to test out new things. Rotation battles, triple battles, inverse battles. Those are the few new battling types added since Generation 3. Without double battles, we might have been stuck with just single battles for the rest of our lives, and nobody wants to be single for the rest of their lives. Maybe it's not as bad in the originals, but I think IGN was onto something. There is just too much water. Now, before you laugh at that last statement, throwing the meme around, let me explain. It's not just the amount of ocean water routes, which there are a lot of, don't get me wrong. Rather, it was the amount of things added to complement all the water routes that drag the games down. Useless diving routes, an egregious amount of water-type HMs, adding all the secret locations in the water routes. Wow, it really was a lot of water. Maybe it was from the tears of the players that gave up on the franchise. To this day, only one game actually has your dad fully in the flesh. That's the games in Generation 3. Every other game makes it seem like he just went out to buy a gallon of milk and a pack of smokes. Norman, your father, is the gym leader of Petalburg City, but he wants you to get stronger just like a dad would want their offspring to do, and tells you to get more badges before facing him. It's a pretty smart thing to do. The only other game to even mention your dad is Ultra Sun and Moon, and yet he's still missing in those games too. He's just mentioned. Alright, I won't even use a segue this time. I've been foreshadowing it this entire time. But a big problem with these games was the fact that people left the franchise during Generation 3, or a short time afterwards. You know, the middle/high school effect and their views on Pokemon, right? Here, just look at this. Thank you, Awkward Zombie, for explaining it better than I could. I'm not sure how it is nowadays, but when I was in middle school and early high school, I was writing things in code to hide the fact that I still played Pokemon. It was that frowned upon. Though in the current day, all ages play Pokemon and nobody is ridiculed for it, which is a wonderful thing. Play what you want. Nobody should break you down for the things that you like just because, in the broader picture, that's just one person's words. There are millions of other people in the world, and as you can see from the Pokemon community on the internet, we're still here playing Pokemon well into our 20s, so just have fun. But truly looking back, thinking I'm alone playing Pokemon at my high school was a disappointing feeling. I hope nobody has that feeling ever. But with that, that's the good and the bad of Generation 3. If you think I missed anything good or bad, be sure to let me know. Now, we have many topics to be gleeful or furious at, so if you have a topic in mind to take the spotlight, be sure to let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed and want to climb to the top, go ahead and smack the like button as Isaac and go and subscribe to start the climb today. With that, I want to thank you for watching, and I'll catch you back at the top later on because that's how we do what? Does anybody need a ladder to climb?